Welcome to the IMA 52-week webinar series. I'm your host, Dominic Sirianni. Things are really heating up as more than 1,000 IMA members and partner organizations get ready to head to Vegas later this month. The Impact 14 conference is a must-attend event for anyone interested in internet marketing. The action-packed agenda starts atop the city of Las Vegas itself and offers IMA members learning opportunities and networking events across topics like social media, content marketing, data and analytics, and the future of modern marketing. Keynote presentations from Brian Wong, co-founder and CEO of KIP, Frank Holland, CVP of Advertising at Microsoft, Lisa Arthur, CMO of TERADATA, Joe Green, founder of Forward.us, and others set the pace for where marketing is headed in 2015 and beyond. For more information about Impact 14, visit impact14.org. It's my pleasure to introduce you to our guest this week. Michael Lummus leads digital marketing solutions at TERADATA. Mike's a thought leader on the convergence of digital and traditional marketing. He frequently speaks at industry events held by the IMA, Gartner, Automotive News, and others. Before joining TERADATA, Michael has held positions as Senior Product Manager and Director of Marketing. He founded Sonus Marketing, a marketing agency and provider of ad buying technology. He also co-founded Product Camp Nashville and taught tech management at Tribeca Nazarene University. Michael also advises social software company Gigya. With 35 years of experience driving innovation, TERADATA is a global leader in analytic data platforms, marketing and analytic applications, and consulting services. TERADATA helps organizations collect, integrate, and analyze all their data so they know more about their customers and business and do more of what's really important. With all that said, Michael, welcome to the program. I've offered an introduction, but I'd like it if you could tell us more about yourself.
Dom, I really consider myself a marketer at heart. My background's in marketing. I spent a number of years in agency types of roles, but I found myself working more and more with technology and data, and so ultimately made the jump over to a technology company. But really my role is still working alongside marketers, understanding what are their biggest challenges and opportunities in digital marketing, and helping craft the TERADATA solutions to meet those needs.
You know, there's an aspect that keeps rearing its head in marketing as we hold these different conversations with thought leaders like yourself, and it's the confluence of technology and marketing. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience on both sides of that coin?
Absolutely. You're right that there's really more of a convergence of technology and marketing every day. I think by now we've all heard the projection by Gartner that in just a few years, marketing organization will influence more technology spend than the IT organization. However, that doesn't really mean that marketers are going to become programmers or IT professionals are going to become marketing experts. What it really means is that we need to be able to have the right conversations and translate language between the language of marketing and the language of technology so that we can work together, both technologists and marketers, to build solutions that ultimately deliver a better customer experience. Because at the end of the day, what's going to really influence our business the most is being able to use that technology to drive better customer experiences overall.
Well, you've put a lot of marketing people who have heard about this combination of marketing and technology at ease, telling them that they don't have to worry about becoming programmers. I agree with you. I don't think that it's that kind of amalgamation, but there definitely is crossover. Talk to me a little bit about TERADATA and the services and products that the organization can provide both on the technology side and the marketing side.
TERADATA as a whole is really about helping companies drive data-driven business. And what it means from a marketing standpoint is that the TERADATA Integrated Marketing Cloud represents a set of marketer-friendly solutions that enable marketers to access and make use of their customer data for campaign design and deployment, for email and social and mobile marketing, as well as for managing just the daily operations of the marketing department, how they build marketing plans and budgets and track all their assets and bring all that into a holistic, optimized way. So really, TERADATA is really about delivering what are the solutions that marketers need, how do they need to apply data to those solutions, and how do we deliver that with a combination of technology as well as strategic and advisory services to help marketers make the most out of their investments.
Well, it sounds like an organization that's highly in demand, and I can see from 10,000 professionals across 43 nations that you're definitely a very broad organization. Talk a little bit about your role. What do you do in order to help TERADATA, the organization, and their clients?
My responsibility is really the ownership and development of our strategy for digital marketing. So I'm working with marketers on a daily basis, talking to executives about what are their biggest marketing challenges, talking to other experts in the industry, and really forming a point of view of what are the next generation digital marketing solutions that drive those optimized customer experiences. So it's really a combination of listening a lot, probably trying to understand what are the trends in the industry, and then developing the plans that are going to position TERADATA as the marketer's provider of choice for those different needs.
Well, it sounds like you're on the cutting edge of modern marketing. I'm really excited that you made some time for us today, and I'm very pleased to hand things over to you at this point. Michael, why don't you talk to us a little bit about what you came here to share today?
Absolutely. Thank you. What I want to talk to today is how do we use paid marketing channels, advertising, as well as what we call owned marketing channels, the email and direct mail and the website and all the channels that marketers own and control together to drive better customer experiences. And this is still an important topic because years after the advent of this term of 360-degree view of the customer, or a single customer view, or cross-channel marketing, we're still dealing with an issue where we're delivering subpar, fractured, frustrating experiences to end consumers. This happens because of one of two reasons. It's either that we've taken a point-to-point approach when we've tried to coordinate marketing, one that doesn't really have a core centralized coordinating function at the center of it, or we have invested in that centralized coordinating function for the customer experience, but as channels have evolved and as new channels have come online, we haven't plugged them into that infrastructure. An example of what this ended up delivering happened to me in the not-too-recent past. I was in one of my best friend's wedding, and as a groomsman, I was asked to purchase a particular pair of shoes. So I went to the website of a well-known men's retailer, and I found the shoes on the website, but because of the shipping lead time, I chose to go to the store to buy those particular shoes. It was a good experience. I found the product that I wanted. It was a good quality product. I felt I got a good deal. But when I went back to my computer, ads for the shoes started following me around, it seemed. I found ads for the shoes in my Facebook news feed, or when I went to check the baseball score, or looked up the news of the day. And what it ends up being is almost an annoying experience where I actually own these shoes, but I'm still being hammered with ads for them. As a marketer, I know what's happened here. We set up a retargeting campaign. I looked at the product. I didn't purchase the product, so I'm being shown retargeted ads. But we haven't taken that one incremental step to say if somebody has bought the product in the store, I want to suppress them from that campaign. These kind of experiences are happening every day and are really negatively impacting our business because the customer experience is expected to be high, but these kind of things make it not so much. So what we really need is a more comprehensive approach to customer experience design that encompasses all of our channels and applies all of our data to those channels. In this graphic, the left side represents customer data and owned marketing. And these are things that for a number of years, marketers have invested in centralizing coordinating. We're going to bring together all of our customer data through a marketing service provider relationship or a customer data warehouse. And then we're going to coordinate those campaigns across things like email and direct mail. And we've made some headway in these areas, though we're not there yet. And at the same time, we've gone and we've tried to centralize some digital data. We've invested in web analytics tools or maybe a digital data management platform. And we're using digital non-personal data to drive advertising decisions. But what we need to do now is bring these two worlds together. We have to think of consumer data in a holistic way. We need to have these worlds interact and talk to each other, and we need to take a holistic approach to our campaign design, from the conceptualization all the way through the delivery. This has just now become something we could really even tackle because of some advents in the area of digital advertising. The world of digital advertising has really moved from the old school newspaper model of buying and selling and delivery into the new age automated model called programmatic advertising. Why this is important is it enables us as marketers to make the same level of individual level decisions about content that we have been able to for a long time in channels like email and direct mail. We can apply those same concepts. This is generating reams of new consumer data that requires big data technologies and analytics to really mine through, uncover new insights, and apply those in actionable ways. And lastly, it represents a shift from a mostly manual process to a mostly automated process that's managed by professionals. What this really enables us to do is capitalize on this opportunity to really design a more holistic customer experience. And this happens against a backdrop where more and more money is moving from traditional marketing channels into digital channels, a secular trend from newspaper and radio and even television into digital advertising, when we have these opportunities to be more targeted and more relevant. So what we need is a holistic approach. We need to take our technology investments, say a customer data warehouse or a customer database and a campaign management function, and start connecting it into new digital channels. We need to connect it into web personalization. Web personalization is an area that's paid off for many marketers, but hasn't really accessed the rich customer history, all the context from past interactions with customers that we have. We need to connect those things together so we can deliver that optimized experience on the web. We need to look at things like segment onboarding. This is the concept that we're going to take our customer data and we're going to make it actionable in digital advertising channels. And TERADATA has recently partnered with a company called LiveRamp that is, specializes in this kind of work. We can also build direct integrations to get this as well. And lastly, we need to connect all these things to our ad delivery technologies like demand-side platforms. These are the systems that are where we're managing the buying of advertising inventory and really the decisions of which content are we going to deliver to which consumer on the web. And all this stuff needs to work in concert to have a holistic approach to interaction management. There's four main reasons why we need to do this. And the first is message control. This is avoiding the scenario that I had with the shoes. This is being able to send also a message to somebody, say a direct mail piece, that has a high cost to it, and then reinforcing that same offer with digital ads to that individual with the same message. As marketers, we've known for a long time that frequency has a high impact on response. And this really gives us enables us to do that with a combination of channels. It allows us to accelerate relevancy by using the data that we have about a customer to make the right decision for that customer at that point in time. We can use not just the digital data we have from their activity on our website, and not just the customer history from their activity with past purchases or in our store or through a call center. We can look at what data do we have at that moment in time and make the best decision for that consumer based on all that available data. It allows us to discover new insights about consumer behavior. And this is really where we develop competitive advantage, in my opinion. This is where we uncover insights about consumer behavior that our competitors don't know. And we can react to those. We can design campaigns around those. We can optimize decisions around those. And lastly, we can apply all this knowledge to attribution, to really taking all of our marketing spend and optimizing it across channels and across campaigns. We can understand where is our spend paying off, where is it having the highest impact, and not just generating a report from that, but we can use that to influence our planning for the next cycle. This is paying off for companies every day. Take a telecommunication company who started using their customer data to target online ads. And they did a test between the ads that were targeted using their customer data, which products did this person own, or how had they interacted with us in the past, versus a generic segment. And they saw 10 times lift in performance on those campaigns. Or a travel and entertainment company that TERADATA works with that wanted to use their loyalty program data, their past stays of these people in properties, to influence which ads they saw, and particularly when they had opted out of the email campaigns, how do we reach those same people with the message that we want to reach them with in digital advertising campaigns? And they saw a 500% return on that investment. So as we look across the industry, and example after example, what we're seeing is that when we bring together these worlds, the digital world, the customer data, the customer insights, and we work in a cross-channel, omni-channel way across our owned and our paid channels, we're seeing big payoffs. So what I'd like to leave you with is, what are 4 steps you can take to get started in this? The first is we want to start with some tactical tests. Get your data on board. This is what I talked about earlier, taking your customer segments and making them actionable in digital ad channels. You can work with a partner like LiveRamp. If you're working with a campaign management provider like TERADATA, there's often pre-built integrations here, or you can build your own. But the important thing is, let's take our customer segmentation that's being used to drive email and direct mail and website personalization, and we use that same logic to deliver experiences and digital ad campaigns to have a coordinated approach. Secondly is you want to make sure you own the technology as well as the data. Agencies still have a critical role in this ecosystem, especially when it comes to designing and executing campaigns. However, you shouldn't relinquish all the technology buying decisions for advertising to your agencies. You need to have an input. You need to really own the decision of which technologies are you going to use, and make sure that you own the data at the end of the day. Because data is an asset, and it needs to be used for your own competitive advantage and not for the agency's own purposes. Own the technology and own the data. The third is, when you do attribution, it needs to be an enterprise-wide independent function that's designed to craft a single version of the truth, not something that is used within a channel group to jockey for more budget for the next cycle. And it needs to be actionable. It needs to be something you can use not just to generate a report, as important as some of those reports are, but really to influence how you budget your campaigns moving forward. And lastly, when you do design campaigns, do it with all channels in mind. Get that cross-functional, cross-channel group in a room and talk about the ultimate customer experience you want to deliver and how each person's role and the role of each channel can be used to build that. Build that campaign from the ground up with each channel in mind, then build the process and infrastructure and technology around it to deliver the intended experience. So I'd like to thank you for inviting me here today. I hope this has been helpful. And if you'd like to learn more, there's a couple links here. We did put out a white paper that covers a lot of the content I talked today and goes into a lot more depth. So if you're interested in this topic of how marketing and advertising come together, how they should work together, download that white paper. I think you'll find it very helpful.
Well, Michael, thank you very much for the information. I love how condensed and value-filled your presentation is. I want to revisit where you started, which was the story about the shoes. I'm sure everyone has had an experience where marketing has led them to make a decision, and then they have been remarketed to very consistently after having made the decision. Can you talk a little bit about what steps an organization can take to make sure that doesn't happen, some of the suppression techniques that you mentioned earlier?
Sure, and let's take that as a specific example. Where you're doing a retargeting campaign and somebody buys something in a store. Or if you're not a retailer, it could be they bought it through your call center. Or if you're a financial institution, they may see that they now own the product. You can use that segment onboarding technique that I talked about. You can design a segment in your campaign management tool and say, this is a suppression segment against my retargeting. And then send that over to your ad buying technology and say, anybody on this list, don't show them the ads. That's a very tactical way to go about it. But I think it ultimately comes down at a higher level to what I said a minute ago, is you need to have that cross-functional, cross-channel team put together. And when you design those campaigns, when you design that retargeting campaign, it shouldn't just be the whatever team manages your retargeting campaign implementing it. It needs to have input from people who are doing stuff like managing your in-store data. So they can say, if they come to the store to buy this, let's suppress them. And no matter how you go about that tactically to get to that suppression, if you start with that campaign design in mind that has that ultimate experience at heart, then it'll help you get there.
I love that concept of organic, comprehensive design across all channels. Is that something that TERADATA can help an organization do, or is that something that they really need to put in place internally first?
It's really a combination. TERADATA definitely provides both technology and support services for that. Our campaign management solution is really designed to be that centralized hub that has all the logic that determines which messages get delivered to which consumers at which time. So we can definitely provide the technology for it. And we also have both strategic and interactive services that can help you identify the right steps to take and even design and execute the campaigns. But ultimately, the marketing planning processes reside inside organizations. No matter how much you work with outside partners like TERADATA or agencies, there becomes a point where the marketing process is determined by your CMO and their team. And so it's really a combination of leveraging partners like TERADATA where you can provide technology solutions or come in as an outside expert to help you identify what is the right process to put in place. But you have to own the end result in the marketing department.
That's great, Michael. I want to carry that one step forward because I think there's a lot of value there for our audience. And I want to put you on the spot a little bit. Think of one client. Think of a partner that you've worked with in the past. You can either name them if you think it's appropriate or leave the name out. I want you to describe the pain that they were in, talk about the challenges that they were facing, and then talk about the solutions that your organization was able to provide in order to realize a better outcome. Maybe take some of the tools that you've talked about or some of the strategies that you've mentioned earlier and talk about how they've been operationalized in one specific instance. Sure.
If you go to our website, you can find the story of Procter & Gamble. And to give you a brief summary, P&G is a consumer packaged goods company, large global brand. They operate in 180 countries, have 50 different leadership brands in their portfolio. And the way that they realized that the way that they had to market had to change. It wasn't good enough to just run TV ads and put inserts in mailers and run in-store promotions. The whole consumer packaged good industry is realizing this. And so they wanted to build more connected relationships with their end customers. But in order to do that, they needed to first have an understanding of who their customers were. So we worked with Procter & Gamble to bring together all their customer data from all their brands into a centralized, essentially customer database, customer data warehouse, where they had a single view of who their customers were in an integrated and security compliant and comprehensive way. And then we gave them enabled them with the tools to start designing campaigns to those customers that were cross-channel in nature and that utilized that insight. So what they've been able to do is build really unique experiences around brands like Pampers, who has Pampers has a very iconic brand for a certain time in your life. That's when you have small children. And they've been able to build a cross-channel, optimized, really excellent experience with the Pampers brand. But what they've also been able to do is take that experience, and as your children grow up, they can transition you into other P&G experiences for beauty products or household products. And so it's really helped them leverage their scale as a global organization and the insights they have about customers across their entire portfolio. And again, that comes down to having that insight of who your customers are, being able to mine those insights out of it, and then apply those through marketing solutions that help you design and execute the campaigns.
And Michael, you've talked about those tools, specifically LiveRamp. Can you maybe expound upon that? What exactly does LiveRamp do? What other resources should marketers be looking for as they develop a holistic approach, as you described, to customer management?
Sure. At the core of it is the campaign management technology. Ours we call Customer Interaction Manager, and it's that centralized hub for implementing the decisions that you've made about how to interact with customers. It helps you connect into all your customer data sources wherever they live. It helps you build all the logic to apply predictive models, and then disseminate that information to your marketing channels. In this case, LiveRamp is a partner we've worked with on the digital advertising side to help get that data into ad systems. But it works like any other channel coming out of that interaction management tool. It can be your direct mail house. It can be your email management vendor. It can be mobile push messaging. So the concept is if you have that core campaign management technology, that customer interaction management, that holds and executes on the logic that you've agreed to as an organization on how to interact with your customers, then whether that's a partner of TERADATA's or a TERADATA technology like Digital Messaging Center, which is our email marketing and mobile marketing tool, or some other vendor that you're working with, you can make sure that you're delivering that intended customer experience across all those different channels.
Like we've provided so much value in a short period of time, I could probably continue the conversation for a few hours. Let me give you the chance to share one more important piece of advice with our audience. Share how people can get in touch with you if they have more information or if they have more questions, and then we'll say goodbye.
Well, again, thank you for allowing me to come today. I've had a great time. TERADATA.com is probably the best place to start. You can look at the TERADATA applications page on there. As I mentioned earlier, we have the link to the white paper if you want to learn more specifically about how you bring marketing and advertising together. But we'd love to talk to you. Please get in touch. And again, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Michael. IMA members, I hope you found as much value in today's session with Michael as I have. You can get more information, including the white paper and all the links that we talked about today at imanetwork.org/webinar. And as always, would love to interact with you. A lot of you have sent in ideas and people for upcoming webinars. I'd like to continue that. You can email me at dsirianni, that's DSIRIANNI @imanetwork.org. Michael, again, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see everyone next week.